And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Pipeline from Capstone Games. It says the severe pressures of worldwide demand and the ever-increasing global standards for refinement have forced the government to privatize the oil industry. And so you are coming in, hey, I'm going to make the best pipelines here. I want to refine oil. Now, Pipeline is a fairly hefty economic game in which you are going to create this network of pipes, moving these pipes around to take oil, buy low, and sell high, and make the most money. There's a lot going in on this game. So, when I first saw it set up, I was like, ooh, look at these pipes going in different directions. I like games that do that, Metro, Suro. Although those games are usually very light, I'd hesitate to call Pipeline light, so I don't know. I got very various opinions about the game from folks in my gaming group, so I went into it saying, I want to like this, but is it my style game? Now, because there's so much going on in this game, I'm not going to go over every detail. I just want to give you basically a general feel of how the game works. But I'll tell you one thing, the game is all about money. You're trying to get the most money. You're going to start with a certain amount of money and trying to buy or sell oil, complete contracts, just do what you can to make money. Each player is going to have a board in front of them, and you'll start the game with 5 tanks. You can put them where you want. But as the game progresses, you're going to be storing oil in these tanks. You'll start with crude oil, which is where you can buy, and you're going to be upgrading that oil and trying to refine the oil to have the best kind of oil that you can, or maybe you can sell even partially refined oil for different contracts. But you can buy more of these as the game goes by so that you can store more and more. I can only store 4, for example, at the bottom. Now, the way you refine oil is through your piping systems. Each player is going to be slowly over the course of the game building a piping system in front of them, and you're going to be able to convert oils based on how long your pipes are of each color. So, for example, I have an orange one that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments, a blue one here that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 segments, a gray one here that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And so as the game goes by, you're going to be able to place a worker on a spot and activate the pipes that are on that spot. At the beginning of the game, these numbers are going to be placed randomly here. So you can see to convert a crude orange to the next level of oil, I'm going to need a pipe that's at least 6 lengths. And then to convert it to the next one would be 6. And to convert it to the next one is 4. So if I have an orange pipeline that's 6, I can use 1 turn and I can run that to activate it, to convert 6 to convert 1 oil to the next level of oil, and then I can use the next turn to activate it again, then I can use it the 3rd turn, while the blue one needs a 7, then a 4, then a 7th. If I have an orange line that's 12 long, I could go straight from here to here as I upgrade my oil. So players are going to take turns, and there's going to be a certain amount of turns. There's more turns in the first year than the second year than the third year. Players are going to take turns using their worker and placing their worker on different spots on the board. And when they place it on these spots, they're going to be able to do different things. So you'll be able to go to the markets here, and you'll be able to buy from these. There's each one of these government tiles. It will cost a certain amount of money depending on how many you buy. And 2 of them will be open the first year, then a 3rd one will open the second year, then a 4th one. And so this is one way to get pipes. But you can also go and get some shop pipes over here, which will be next to the board, 2 per player in each of these areas, and you'll be able to buy these. These are a little bit more expensive, but you have more options. When you go here, wherever you place the person, you can only buy ones that are adjacent to it. You can also buy more tanks over here to store more oil. You can also buy machines. Machines will be placed on your oil board, and they'll be able to run it every turn so that you don't have to put your worker there and waste a turn doing that. But machines are expensive, and they also take up a spot in your pipe network. Of course, you need to get oil, so you can always go up to the crude market and buy oil. And you can see, as with many economic games, the more oil that's bought, this will be refilled a certain amount of cubes each turn, but the more that's bought, the more it's going to cost. And then there's also the different refined markets down here at the bottom where you can buy and sell oil depending on which of the markets you go to. So I might go here, I can sell orange oil, I can sell the super refined orange oil for a lot of money, and I can sell the gray oil here, and then this is where I can buy the blue oil. And so the different types of oil, you can buy one of the 3 types at each one and sell the other 2. And so this is a quick way to make some money. You can also go over here to the contracts and the orders and fill these in. When you take a contract, you're going to have to fulfill this every year, but each time you do so, you're going to get money. So for example, here for the first level of refined oil, you get 20, but I'll need 2 of the grays. So you can take those, and when you take them, you're going to put it next to your board here, and you'll need to fulfill it each year. You can defer it for a year, just preparing for later on, but when you take contract, they can be very lucrative, but if you don't fulfill them, then you might get penalty cubes. And penalty cubes, a couple penalty cubes isn't a big deal, but a lot of penalty cubes will lose you money at the end of the game. You'll also be able to take out loans over the course of the game, which will also give you penalty cubes. Orders are different. You can just flat out fill these. They're much harder. There's a lot of oil that's needed for them, but they can give you a lot of money for each thing that you put down. Now, these tiles here in the middle, it's pretty interesting. Here's where you buy the machines and pipes over here. Here's where you buy upgrades. And upgrades are cards that you'll be able to buy that will give you basically bonuses. So for example, immediately get 2 tanks and 1 shop pipe tile from either shop. And then every year you get 2 tanks. And each one of these, you're going to put them out randomly at the beginning of the game. Each one has a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3 on it. So level 1 engineering for each of your pipelines, the refinement value is increased by 1 for every 4 lengths. So if I have an 8 blue, it's actually a 10. And then it's 2 for every 4 lengths, and then each of your pipelines can do 2 barrels at one time. That's pretty awesome. Instead of a pipeline only refining 1 barrel, I can do 2. But when you do these, this costs money to go here, and not everyone's going to be able to get these because whenever you go here, you can shut one of the upgrades down that other people can't buy. So players will be able to go to upgrades, tanks and pipes, contracts and loans, get contracts, take out loans, get machines and pipes. And so you have all these different things that you can do, or you can go to the markets or up to the crude market, but you can also go to one of these. These are randomly placed at the beginning of the game, and then pay money and also do the refined market. So it's possible to do multiple actions, or you can place your worker on your piping system itself to start refining the oil. And so all this comes together as you're trying to make money. Now, these valuations, there's one that's always in play, but there's 3 other random ones. These are going to give you money at the end of the game. So like you'll score all your fulfilled orders again. You'll score all your contracts again. You get the value of all of your oil and tanks and the value of your pipelines and the value of pipelines attached to machines. So these are extra money points that will be turned in at the end of the game. You can see here at the end of the game you get value for all the different things, for how long your pipelines are, for the valuations. You can lose a lot of money if you have too many penalties. And so there's a lot of going on, but I'm just trying to give you a basic overview. It's essentially buy oil, refine it, and then sell it or put it in contracts. Most money wins the game. Now I find that the components for this game, when you first look at this board like this, it's overwhelming. You're like, wow. But it really isn't that bad. It's really, the pipes, to me, putting these pipes together is really neat, and I like how there's different colors, but not only are they different colors, the pipes have a different look to them also. So it's really easy to tell the different colors apart no matter what. And then there's these refined markets out here, but it's not that complex. It's basically just 4 levels of oil. You put them out, you store things in the tanks. Overall, the whole game just has I think it's really neat looking, but at the same time, there's a lot of information out there. Now these cards, which by the way are really good quality, the book clarifies what they do, but I found that these upgrade cards, they're pretty easy to understand once you understand the game. Overall, I think the quality of this game is really high. Capstone Games does a good job with this. Pipeline feels like it's 2 games put together in one. You have the whole connecting the pipes and building up this pipe network, and then you have a heavy economic game. And I found that some people will like one, they'll like the economic, but they don't like doing the pipes. And some people might like the pipes, but they don't like the economic. Although for those people who don't like the pipe, who like the pipes but not the economic part, you need to stay away because this game is more economic than the pipe part. But then there's people who like both. And for me, I was really happy with this game. Now, I will be the first to say, I do not know what I'm necessarily doing with this game. I've won a game of it, but I just think that was because I got luckier than my opponents. But There is so much going on, and as the game goes by, I'm sitting there going, well, I hope I'm making, I mean, you're always going to make money, right? You're not going to end a game in the hole, I assume. You're always going to make money, but you're trying to make more money than everybody else. And so every decision that you make is very economical. And while the game could play fairly quickly, it says 30 minutes per player, I think you could get it done in an hour and a half for 4 players even, if everyone knows what they're doing. But if anyone says analysis paralysis, it takes a while, especially when they're putting their pipes down. Because every time you get pipes, you're like, all right, if I put this one here. Now, I love that part. It's like, ooh, how do I put these pipes in? But I could see people kind of freezing up in that regard, or where do you buy oil or sell it? Now, to me, some of this stuff's very straightforward, but I will say that the game has a hefty learning curve. Like, I just kind of did an overview. Please don't use that as a way to learn the game, of how the game works. But there's a lot of things going on, and that first explanation, you're like, what? But it does all make sense. You're just buying oil, shooting it through these pipes, refining it, selling it, doing contracts and things like that. And like all those special abilities, the first time playing, you look at them and you're like, I don't even know what any of these do. But once you play the game, those special abilities like, poof, and you're like, whoa, those are amazing. At the same time, it takes time, which is one thing I found in Pipeline is the most precious of all resources, time. I'm sitting there, can I get all my stuff done in time? Can I finish these contracts in time? Do I have enough time to take the oil and run it through? I need to buy these machines to run my pipes so that I have more time. So it takes time to get these special abilities, and it takes money. So is it worth it to do that? And if you do it, you better go in on that. You know, are you going to work on just one color? I'm going to work on a lot of blues and refined blues, or maybe blues and oranges, or you're going to try to do all of them. You got to look at those end game conditions. There is a lot going on in this game, and I like it. I would not call this a Euro game. I'd call this an economic game. If you like 18xx style games and or, you know, games where there's, you know, you're trying to just basically handle a lot of money, I think this will appeal to you. I think train gamers will like this. I liked it a lot. Much of what I liked about it was the interaction between players is there, but it's not overly strong. Like, I'm not too worried. Yes, you might buy oil from the markets I want to do. Yes, you might take the special upgrade card and stop the one that I was going to buy. But for the most part, it's you're kind of working on your own thing, and everyone else is kind of affecting marketing. Yes, that you can buy that contract that I wanted or what have you, but for the most part, I'm working on my own thing, and I was so consumed with that I really ended up enjoying the game. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's definitely not one I'm going to play with everybody, and I definitely want to play with people who are going to make quicker decisions than not. But I really had a lot of fun checking this one out. It's deep, it's interesting, it's going to play differently each time, and it combines two things I really like. I really like that whole little pipe network and trying to build it to build as long of a length as I can of different colors, or maybe multiples of the same colors, so that I can find this one spot to put the machine or to put my guy to operate those pipes properly. And then at the same time, all this money, like, okay, if I do this, and the game's really interesting with the money, because at the beginning you're like, I need a loan, I need money, and as the game progresses, you're like, I got plenty of money to spare. But even then, you got to be careful because you're still trying to win. Juicy goodness, that's Pipeline. I like it. Dice Tower Judgment, approved.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.